Hey guys, it's me again, Joel, Ubisai Reader, and welcome to another video. And for today, I'm going to share with you guys the best books I've read for the year 2021. But before we proceed, I need to address the elephant in the room. I know I have been gone from this channel for... Yeah, I'm in the office. I've been gone in the office. I have been gone in this channel for several months. That is because I have bigger battles to fight outside BookTube. And also, to be specific, these are the tasks I need to complete in the office. We were hit by Typhoon of Death, and we're still trying to bounce back right now. And yeah, those are some major examples why I was really overwhelmed outside BookTube, but I wasn't able to post videos for the past months. But I did try my best to post this video before 2021 ends, but unfortunately, we are still having a sporadic internet connection here in Cebu City. So I did film this video before 2021 ends. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to upload it, so I'm refilming it now. And also, just a heads up, in case you're wondering, this video will not have the usual edits because I'm just going to film this in one take and then post it immediately because, again, I just have to post this without edits. But anyway, thank you so much for understanding, and I hope you guys are safe and well. Belated Merry Christmas and advance. I hope you guys are having a blast on this new year. Hope 2022 will be better for the past compared to the past 2 years. But anyway, going back to the topic, why I'm posting this video again, I'm going to share with you guys the 10 best books I've read this year. So for the year 2021, I set a goal in my Goodreads reading challenge to read 50 books. But unfortunately, again, I was not able to meet that goal. I was able to read only 25 books. That will be exactly 50% completion rate. And anyway, out of the 25 books, I'm going to present to you the 10 best books I've read. And we are going to start with number 10. So out of the 25 books, the 10 best books I've read, the 10th best book I've read is going to be um let me see my list. Okay, Black Sun by Rebecca Rowan Horse. This is marketed as fantasy adult, but upon reading this one, I felt that it feels like more of a fantasy young adult category. But anyway, regardless if it's not an adult, it did not give me an adult feels. I still felt that it was an awesome read. I like how narrow the plot line was and the limited characters, and I did really enjoy the world and of course the character development. By the author, this is actually the first book I've read from the author. What the author did is just giving the readers, us readers, limited characters. But again, I think that really worked well for me because by just following limited number of characters, I get to know them into a deeper level compared to reading a book with a lot of characters that you need to, explore them and know them deeper. And again, you have limited time only in several or number of books, and you don't get to know them deeper. So that's what I really love about this book. I get to know the characters. They were really explored very well, and also there's nothing extravagant about the plot. It was just simple, but it was enough to blow my mind away. In case you are interested, please do pick this one up. I guess the second book is coming out really, really soon, probably this year. And on ninth best book I've read this year, so we have The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is the first book of the Wheel of Time series. I have finally read Wheel of Time, and after this moment, I only read book one out of 14 or 15 books in the series. I read this one with some of my bookish friends, Richard and Thomas, back in early 2021. And we made a Discord group for this one. I did really enjoy this, but I can't really stop comparing it to Lord of the Rings, which I totally understand because before reading this one, I heard that this Wheel of Time, especially the Eye of the World, has a lot of resemblance to the Lord of the Rings. I am a big fan of Lord of the Rings. I have never read the books by Tolkien, but I'm a big fan of the movies. So yeah, the rumors were actually right. There's a lot of similarities or resemblance when it comes to the plot and when it comes to the atmosphere. The trope of traveling and going to adventure, the trope of the characters with the main magician as Gandalf and Morian. It was really similar. So I was kind of put off about that. But anyway, it was still a blast. The lore in the Eye of the World, was interesting. It was outdated, but it was still, again, outdated is not a negative term. It was outdated, but it was simple and not that ambitious. But it was setting something really big for the upcoming books, which I really love. So I am just really excited to pick the Wild Hunt moving forward. So yeah, that's the ninth best book that I've read this year, The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. And the eighth best book I've read this year is going to be Piranesi by Suzanne Clark. This book has been shoved to my throat by my bookish friend Mikey for several months before I read it. I've heard a lot of good things about this one, but I was just really scared of the hype. And fortunately, when I read, or I picked and read it, I was really thankful to Mikey for pushing me to read this one. I did really enjoy Piranesi. It really started really confusing. You don't really know what's happening, what the story is all about, who is this main character, is this fantasy, is this sci-fi. It's really confusing at the very beginning, but as you progress with the book, it's actually really short. I've read it in less than 2 days. As you progress to the book, you get to appreciate deeper or more of the story and of the character, and yeah, the more you read, the more you love it. So it was mind-blowing in the end. And I really love it. I can't recommend it enough. If you're still hesitating to pick this book, Piranesi by Susan Clark, please do not hesitate. Pick this book as soon as possible because it's an awesome read. The seventh best book I've read this year is going to be the final book of the trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. This is The Wisdom of Crowds. Joe Abercrombie's The Wisdom of Crowds is the third and final book of his newest series, Grimdark. I really love A Little Hatred. I read it 2 years ago, and with this one, I was actually really having a lot of expectations about this book since this is the finale and how the second book ended. But The Wisdom of Crowds has some of its flaws. I thought there were some parts that I thought rather that it was a bit rushed. I wish it could have been explored more. But anyway, I still enjoyed the characters, their character development, if especially if you're going to compare these characters on what they were on the first book. It was just really mind-blowing. Everything was justified with regards to their decisions and motivations in the story. So I'm not going to talk much about The Wisdom of Crowds by Joe Abercrombie. This is again a grimdark fantasy adult category. But in case you're planning to pick A Little Hatred, please do so because the entire trilogy were phenomenal. The entire trilogy is phenomenal. So, the sixth best book I've read this year is going to be an adult again category, but under the genre of science fiction. This is going to be Project Hail Mary by Andy Ware. I'm a big fan of Andy Ware because I think he only has 3 books with, if we're not going to count some of his short stories published in Amazon. He was really known for his book The Martian, which I really love, both the book and the movie. And I'm not a really big fan of the Artemis, but upon hearing about this Project Hail Mary, I was actually not planning to pick this. I just have it on my tablet back then, months ago, as an ebook format. So I just tried to read the first chapter. But oh boy, I didn't really expect that I will be hooked. While reading the Project Hail Mary, it really reminded me of a lot of things that I really love from The Martian. The main reason was uh, it has a lot of resemblance to The Martian, not in a sense of characters, stories, but in a sense of the writing style and the writing formula. The writing formula of Project Hail Mary, the writing style of the Project Hail Mary is very similar to The Martian. And I'm not going to complain because I really love The Martian, and those two aspects were one of the reasons why I found The Martian phenomenal. And this one just really reminds me of The Martian. It's like a Martian 2.0, but different scenario, different story, different character, different motivations. But anyway, it was still it's still a great book. Just a disclaimer, in case you're not into science, if you're not a science person, you might have to avoid reading this one because these books, anywhere or maybe general science fiction in general, has a lot of scientific terms, scientific terminologies that will be overwhelming, especially for those people who are not in, don't have a solid background in science. But me, as a medical professional, a practicing my profession in medical field, grew up in surrounded by science, I really found the book really amazing. I get to really enjoy, and my imagination by correlating these science theories into a fiction, even though it's fiction, but it was a real life scenario in fiction, was was really entertaining. I was really satisfied, especially if you're a big fan of physics and chemistry. I used to teach chemistry, organic chemistry, back when I was still a university lecturer a few years back then. And some of the things I taught to my students years ago were explored into several scenarios or scenes in the Project Hail Mary, which really made me really, really happy. And yeah, this is the sixth best book I've read this year. I'm definitely going to pick more books from Andy Weir. I know, by the way, that Project Hail Mary, some of the readers did not like the ending. Personally, I think it could have been better, but I was just really satisfied. It could have been better if it was explored in a different direction. But yeah, I was just satisfied. It was just okay for me, the ending. So, nothing that bad. The fifth best book I've read this year is going to be. So yeah, I'm in the hospital, so I apologize for the background sound. I'm just trying to squeeze this filming on my break time. Going back, the fifth best book I've read this year is going to be Deacon King Kong by James McBride, sorry, James McBride. Deacon King Kong is literary fiction, and I've been rooting for this to be nominated or even win the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 2021. Unfortunately, it was not even nominated. But anyway, Mikey and I read this. Mikey loved this also. I really love this. It's actually the fifth best book I've read this year, 2021. It was really something fresh. It was something that the main reason why I love this book is it's like if you love The Man Called Ova by Frederick Backman, this is more similar to The Man Called Ova, but it has more plot to it. It has more dynamic to it when it comes to characters and character development. So just imagine The Man Called Ova improve better, to improve in a better sense. The same feels, but there's a lot of stakes compared to The Man Called Ova. So yeah, um, Deacon King Kong is, yeah, a memorable read, and I am definitely going to recommend you guys reading it. And plus, the writing style of James McBride probably might be not for everyone, but if his writing style, who is really lyrical, but sometimes direct to the point, and is also being tailored to some of his grassroots as a writer, is something I'd really appreciate. So you need to check this one out. The fourth best book I've read this year is going to be The Humans by Matt Haig. I know you guys know Matt Haig from, most of you guys, probably. I'm just going to assume. Maybe I'm wrong. You knew him because of The Midnight Library, who won the best book in fiction last year in Goodreads by just several votes. It was epic. But anyway, um, before The Midnight Library was published, I knew Matt Haig already for the book The Humans. I've heard him because I have a favorite booktuber here in YouTube who's been ranting and motivating her followers or viewers to read The Humans by Matt Haig. So I've been wanting to pick this book ever since I've heard about it because the premise was just a phenomenal for me. Unfortunately, as a Filipino guy living in the Philippines, it was not that easy to have a physical copy of the book. But thank you for Book Outlet. I was able to finally secure a physical copy last year. So when I got it, I definitely read it. It was actually a UK version, I think, the one with the dog, the cool cover. Um, it was brilliant. I was not disappointed. Actually, surpassed my expectations. So I was really glad. I was really happy that I finally read it. I finally understood what the hype is all about, why it was recommended, and I cried. I laughed at the first. I became very sentimental and really cried. This book is going to hold a really special place in my heart. So, in case you are wondering if you want to explore more of Matt Haig's works, you need to definitely check The Humans. I'm currently reading his The Midnight Library. I'm probably on the first 10% or 15% of the book, and I'm not kind of enjoying it because there are a lot of trigger warnings. Like, you know, I can't, I can't. But it's nothing against the author nor the story. It's just me as a reader trying to interpret the things that are happening in the story. But anyway, so let's go with the third book that I've read this year. The third best book I've read in the year 2021 is going to be the second book of Joe Abercrombie's trilogy. That is The Trouble with Peace. So I've read book 2 and book 3 in the same year. I read book 2 in January and book 3 in November. So book 3 was number 7 and book 2 is number 3. The Trouble with Peace by Joe Abercrombie is just the wisdom of crowds times 2 when it comes to awesomeness, but without also the flaws, the wisdom of crowds. I felt that it was really well paced, really well explored when it comes to characters, and this is the part where you get to see the characters you knew in the Little Hatred change 360 degrees. And the change of these characters, the development of these characters were not that lame or cringy. It was really well explained, really well supported by the facts or the things that were happening in the story, and I was just really amazed. Again, there's still not much of the fantasy which I initially expected from A Little Haven, but I get to enjoy it though. It's more of a political and plot political maneuvering of the characters, and it's just really character driven and plot driven with less fantasy. There's fantasy, but it's just like a salt and butter in when you're cooking a main dish. But anyway, yeah. The Trouble with Peace was astounding, especially the ending. You need to read A Little Hatred and finish the entire trilogy. Joe Abercrombie's writing style, by the way, was superb. Like, he has his works or magic when it comes to words that make me, especially as me as a reader, really awed and amazed by how he writes. So I'm a fan of Joe Abercrombie, even though I've read only 3 books from him, the entire trilogy. I can't wait to read more of his books. Future books, not the previous ones. Now, we're down to the second best book I've read this year, and that is going to be The Prettiest Star by Carter Sickles. The Prettiest Star by Carter Sickles was wow. It was probably one of the most emotional, probably the most emotional read I did in 2021. It is a adult literary fiction, and it was just heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. It was emotional. In case you're interested about this one, guys, this is a story about a guy who went back to his hometown, a rural place in New York back in 1989 or early 1990s when AIDS and HIV are still rising and people are not that informed yet what these diseases are all about. That time, our main character is gay. He is suffering with grief because his longtime boyfriend died from HIV and AIDS, and he also discovered that he has the disease. So he is expecting to die in a few months from the day he discovered. He's losing weight, he's really weak. So he decided to go back home to his hometown and die there. But yeah, things get serious. It's not a spoiler because it's in the premise. When he got back home, he actually grew up in a very religious family. He grew up in a town where it's a really religious town that is really judgmental, I think, ignorant when it comes to especially this disease. So even his parents were not welcoming to him. Were actually discriminating him. Imagine you're dying, you're all by yourself, and even your own family are discriminating you, are not going to accept you just because you have HIV or AIDS, because they thought that they might get the disease from your saliva, from the water you drink, or when you share your utensils, your spoons or fork, you will get that disease also. They even tag disease as the curse from God for this. It's like a homophobic curse, I think. But anyway, it's really heartbreaking. It made me really angry to some of the characters on how ignorant they were. I really felt the main character, how desperate he's still drowned by grief, but he's still hopeful. He's trying to make the best of his life, remaining days of his life, but he's not able to do that easily because these external factors around surrounding him. Yeah, it's emotional, and you need to read this. I'm not going to tell you more about the book because that's all I can tell based on the premise. But The Prettiest Star by Carter Sickles is a must read. Prepare your tissues. Prepare your tissues. So, we're down to the last book, and this is the best book I've read this year, and this is going to be the winner of the 2019 Pulitzer Prize, and this is 2019, 2020. I think 2020, yeah. The winner of the 2020 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction, The Nickel Boys by um, Colson Whitehead. I have read his Underground Railroad, also a winner of the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction last year, 2019, 2020. And I've read this because I've been wanting to read a lot more of the Pulitzer for Fiction winners. And I picked the Nickel Boys, and I was not disappointed. It is the best book I've read in 2021 for a very specific reason. Aside from the characters were awesome, aside from the writing style, aside from the plot twist in the end, um, it was just the things that the author wants to deliver to the readers, or what the author is trying to put into the table for the readers to see and to learn and to appreciate. It's all about oppression, not just oppression that coming from racism, coming from inequality when it comes to your status in the society. It's about oppression in humanity in general. It was really explored very well and represented by these characters and the things that happen in the story, and by the plot, the plots that happen in the story. It really made me angry, to be honest. All throughout the book, most majority of the book, I was really really angry. I don't know why, but I think that's a sign that the book was really effective. It really touched my emotions, and I've been thinking about it, even though I've read that several months ago now. I can't really stop thinking about the things I've learned from the book, and the things that happened in the book, and the things how the book ended. It was just really unfair, and the book is just going to, you know, s- start a spark within you. I promise. So yeah, it really deserved the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction, I believe, and it was really well written also. His writing style was just really unique. It's really Colson Whitehead, and you need to really read it. So you'll get, yes, The Nickel Boys was the best book I've read in 2021. But it was a close battle between The Prettiest Star and The Nickel Boys. It could have been any of the two of them. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for listening and for reaching this part of the video. I hope you guys are well, and don't forget to drink more water. Hope you guys will have more blessings for this coming year, for this year, 2022. Take care, keep safe, and this is me again, your Bisaya reader. See you on my next video. Bye bye.